So I've been asked for a while to make some herbal first aid videos, so this is the first one. Now I'm starting off with a very basic home first aid kit, something like this. Now this might be something that you have in the car, it might be something that you take with you on trips. It doesn't have to be as big as this, a small first aid kit that you tend to take place. It's not something that is more of a medicine cabinet. So in here we have the usual sorts of plasters, bandages, dressings, and really these are all the same in a herbal first aid kit. That bit isn't any different. You do still need dressings even if what you're going to put under the dressing is a herb. And these are still really handy to have, so that's fine. The things that you might want to replace might be something like a wound cleaning wash, wound spray, which is what I'm going to show you how to make. And really, when I say wound, I really mean just the basic first aid, a graze, a cut, that sort of thing, not anything major. In something that you would just treat at home. Someone you've fallen over and you've got a graze and you think, oh, I'll just grab the first aid kit, and you decide to use your spray. That's the sort of thing that we're going to be making. So it's really easy, and something that you can keep, as I said, in a first aid kit, maybe that goes in the car or stays in the house or travels with you, whatever. But it's this kind of first aid that we're talking about, immediate first aid. So let's just move that out of the way. Now, there are a couple of different things that you can use as a base for a wound spray. Now, obviously it needs to be antibacterial. It needs to have probably alcohol in it. Now, this is going to be a preservative because you don't want this to go off. Also, we want it to be cleaning a wound, and we don't want to be bringing any kind of mold or bacteria or anything like that in a wound spray, because as soon as you make a natural wound spray, quite often you're going to be introducing bacteria and microbes and things, and we don't want that in a spray that we're going to be using on wounds. So that's why I like to have an alcohol base. Now this, I'm actually using a distilled witch hazel, which has alcohol, and I'm going to be using that as my base today. So this is a 50ml, so that's about 50ml of witch hazel, and I will put the recipe at the end of this video, so don't worry. So I'm using witch hazel. Now, what I like to use, and I often have, are antibacterial tinctures. Now, do look at my other videos about tinctures and what they are. Basically, it's an extraction of a herb using alcohol. Now, those extractions you can use, and of course they're going to be bringing their added medicinal qualities to your wound spray. So they would be antibacterial herbs. For example, bay, thyme, rosemary, all very high, and lavender, all high antibacterial herbs. Calendula is another one. Now, those are all really great as a base for a wound spray or in combination. Echinacea is another great one, and I'll be doing a free course on how you can make that yourself soon. So into my witch hazel, I'm now going to be putting some essential oils. Now, essential oils, as we know, are very concentrated, and more often than not, they're extremely antibacterial and antimicrobial. Now, the two that I've chosen today are lavender and tea tree. Now, you can really use what you happen to have. They need to be antibacterial, they need to be safe to be used for anyone, and they need to be something that is stable and can really be put on something that's very sensitive without causing an added rash, which is not what we want. Which is why I'm using lavender and tea tree, because they have those properties. Now, this needs to be a wound spray, so we need it to be strong, but we also don't want it to be so strong that it's going to be extremely irritating and make the person jump through the ceiling. So we need to get that level about right. So in 50 ml, I'm actually going to add 10 drops of lavender essential oil. There we go. And I'm going to do the same with the tea tree. We go. Put the lid on, and then obviously we can put a label on it. Now this, if you're going to be having it in a first aid kit, if it's going to be traveling around with you, if it's going to be sort of, you know, in and out of a car, or maybe a backpack or something like that, really anything that goes from really high heat to then really cold starts to break down its basically the biochemicals. So it's going to not last as long as other things. I would say 6 months to a year would be absolutely fine. And it's always a good thing to just make things. I like to make things once a year, and then I know it's in there, and then you can carry on. So this is a really great one to start with, but as I said, you're really only limited to the fact that you want to be using antibacterial herbs. And if you've been on any of my courses, done any of my online work, then you will know about the different antibacterial herbs that you can use. And feel free to leave your favourites in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe.